What's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop, talking about the Ronbus Pulsar FX series. I'm pretty excited to talk about this series. I enjoyed it quite more than I thought I would. If you're a big Pulsar fan, I think you're going to like this series. And if you're a big Nova fan and you wanted more power, I think you're going to like this series. All the paddles are 160 after code AllDriveNoDrop. Great price in today's market. Can't complain about that. And I am doing a giveaway, so stick around till the end of the video if you're interested in that. So let me just talk real quick. We're talking about a flex grid and an edge grid. Those are the two big things that are special about this series. What Ronbus claims is that it lets you play soft when you want to play soft and lets you access that power when you want to access power. Let's jump into the specs first and get into gameplay before I reveal if that's true. I'll save you some time. It is true. I think it does play soft when you want it to play soft, and it does let you access the power when you want to. Let's jump into the specs. All right, so let's jump into those specs. So all the paddles have that flex grid and they have the edge grid. So the flex grid does help it play softer and helps give you the added power in those full swings. So the construction, thermoform unibody with perimeter edge foam and the technology I just mentioned. The R1 is elongated. It's 16.5 by 7.5 inches, 16 millimeter core, weighs 8.2 ounces, 5.5 inch handle length, grip circumference of 4.125, swing weight of 119, twist weight of 6.29. The R3 shape is pretty similar. It just doesn't have the curve on the top, and that creates a heavier swing weight of 124, a little bit more twist weight in 6.31. The R2 is a standard shape. It is 16 inches by 8 inches, weighs 8.3 ounces. I think they're trying to get it down to 8.2 for the production. And then my swing weight is a 115. I think they're trying to get it down to like 114 for the production. Twist weight is 7.08, and it plays way above the twist weight in my opinion. So like I had mentioned already, the Flex Carbon Grid does help you play soft when you want to play soft and helps you access the power when you want to access power. The edge grid is supposed to help with core crushing issues, so that's awesome. I didn't hear or see any issues with the core crushing in the Nova, which did use the edge grid to help with that, so that's awesome. These paddles are some of the softer feeling carbon fiber paddles that I've felt. It's not quite to the level of the softness of the Kevlar, but it's pretty close, especially hitting the sweet spot of the R2 feels pretty good. So I'll kind of talk about the R2 and R1, and then I'll loop in the R3s. The R2 is an excellent standard paddle, and if you have been looking for a standard paddle that has, or wide body, they're almost the same shape. If you've been looking for one of those that has more power, and you've been playing, say, with like the Groove and Move-Ins or the Apollo or the Volair Mach 2 Forzas, and you're like, I just want more power. This delivers on that. It has great spin, and your serves are going to have no issue dipping in. Has the handle length for two-handed backhands. Excellent power to get depth on all your shots. Dinks, very maneuverable. The swing weight is higher than most standard and wide body shapes, but that comes into play for the power. I think you're going to have to sacrifice the swing weight to get the power for these paddles. And honestly, at 115, and they're saying to get down to 114 for the normal production, I don't think it's a big deal. I think that's a great swing weight to be playing at. You just don't have to weight this paddle up. So when you hit the ball for blocks and resets on the R2, it just feels so solid. Like if you hit the sweet spot exactly in the center, you can barely feel the ball. And it doesn't twist. The twist weight, I think, doesn't do it justice. I block and reset just as easily with the R2 as I do with the Mach 2 Forza 16mm and the Apollo. It feels buttery smooth. My control was amazing with the R2. Dinks, drops, drives, rolls, everything I was placing where I wanted it to place. Decent pop on this too when you want to access it, just because of the lower swing weight, and you can get that best sweet spot. It has the best maneuverability, and it's just my preferred choice of the series. Now, if you want more reach, the R1 would be my choice just because it has a lower swing weight. Really, I don't see a great reason to go with the R3 unless you really want access to more power. All these paddles, when you hit the sweet spot, they feel great. They don't twist much in your hands. I know the elongated ones have lower twist weights, and it is true they do twist a little bit more than the R2, and that's just going to come down to the shape. But I do think that Ronbus has nailed the series with what they are trying to do. These paddles hit very hard. The elongated, the R1 and the R3 hit even harder. So if you want that power in a paddle that's only 160, this is the series for you. So the Pulsar FX series is a series of powerful paddles with not elite pop, but honestly some pretty decent pop if you're looking to access that, especially with the R2. So for the power, it goes R3, R1, R2. For spin, it goes R1, R2, R3, and then pop, it goes R2, R1, R3. My personal ranking for my favorite is R2, and then the R1, and then the R3. So to put it in summary, we have really good spin with these paddles, we have pretty good pop, and we have really good power. So I'm just leave this up here, so feel free to pause this and check out this more, but I just wanted to leave you with the power and pop numbers of a lot of the paddles I've reviewed recently, because this R series really tops the charts. Of course, you're going to have the gearbox being left out, and then the new Yolas being left out that are above them. But I don't play with the gearbox anymore. So the question is, should you get one of the Pulsar FX series? Personally, my favorite by far is the FX.R2 shape. The standard shape of this series is one of my favorite carbon fiber paddles out there. It just is so easy to reset and block the ball with this thing, and it has the most power of any wide body or standard paddle I've played with. Haven't played with the Yola Scorpius yet, so don't ask me in the comments. I haven't got to it yet. It's in the mail. But listen, if you've been playing wide bodies and standard shape paddles and you want more power and you want more control with a softer feeling of the Kevlars, but you want to stick to the carbon fiber, then this is what you've been looking for. Now, if you want that feeling in elongated shape, I think the R1 does a great job of doing that. It's not as soft as the R2, but it's still pretty soft, packs a bigger punch, gets a little bit more spin. So if you're looking for that, I think it's great. The R3, I don't think this is going to fit the game of a lot of people just because the swing weight is so high. But if you really like the R1 shape and you're like, hey, I want a little bit bigger of a sweet spot and I want a little bit more power and I don't care about the swing weight, then the R3 is for you. At 160, after the code AllDriveNoDrop, that's not a bad price in today's market. I think that is a fair price for these paddles. I like the carbon grid. It really does feel like a trampoline when you put your full power into it on those overheads and the big drives, big serves. And it does play soft when you want it to play soft, that's the type of paddle that most people need. So I recommend taking a look at this series, especially the R2 and the R1. Those are the two favorite of mine. And if you really want more power, the R3. Check out the directions on the screen if you're interested in entering the giveaway. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to help support the channel. I always enjoy hearing from everyone's feedback and experiences and questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. And please go play some pickleball and have some fun. Thank you.